Of all of the festivals of the year, without doubt, Sukkot is the most joyous and the most festive. The Torah tells us, "V'samachta b'chagecha," rejoice in your festival. How does one rejoice? And there are very specific rules. You must eat good food, drink good wine. Husbands are meant to buy new clothing, outfits, jewelry for their wives, chocolates for the children, gifts. We're meant to celebrate in our Sukkot with the Ushpizin, with the spiritual guests, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Yosef, Moshe, Aaron, and David, and with the actual guests that we invite into our home, into our Sukkot. We say the phrases of Hallel in our prayers, and we shake the lulav and etrog. And in the temple in Jerusalem, there was another aspect of the festivities of Sukkot that made it a very unique festival. And this was called the Simchat Beit HaSho'eva, the water drawing festival. Every day of the year there were sacrifices, and these sacrifices consisted of animals, of flour offerings, and also of a wine libation that was poured in a receptacle next to the altar. And over and above the wine libation, which happened every single day, on Sukkot there was a water libation. They would go down to the stream in Jerusalem, and they would gather water in special containers, and this water was poured on the altar. Because Sukkot is the precursor to the rainy season in Israel, it was a way of saying to Hashem, please, bless our waters, make sure that we have good rains. And there was an incredible party that took place in Jerusalem. The Talmud describes it, that they would prepare for a great deal of time to make sure that it was festive. There would be great torches so that everything would be illuminated in the night. The sages would come, they would dance together. Some of them would juggle with fire. They would even juggle with glasses of water. People would watch, they would clap, they would join in. It was absolutely incredible. And the great Rav Kook asked an interesting question. He said, why is it called Simchat Beit HaSho'eva? The water drawing festival. That wasn't the main point of it. The main point of the festival was to, in fact, to pour the water on the altar. It should have been called Simchat Nisuch HaMayim, the celebration of the libation of the water. The water drawing was just a means to an end. And Rav Kook explains beautifully as follows. He says, if you look in the beginning of the creation of the world, Hashem wanted the fruit trees to produce fruit and to produce wood that would also taste like the fruit, that the actual bark itself would taste like the fruit. But this didn't happen. And we have a tree and we have fruit. Why is that so? Because in this physical world, there is the means and there is the ends. When it comes to a tree, the means, the production is the tree. The product is the fruit. You can't have the two. There's the means and there's the ends. But in the spiritual world, these two are indiscernible. There is the means and the ends, but they're all one and the same. So for example, the Talmud tells us that if a person is on their way to do a mitzvah is the product, the ends, the means is how they go about doing it, and for some reason they were withheld from doing the mitzvah through reasons beyond their control, Hashem credits them as if they actually produced the final product. How's that so? That doesn't work in the physical world. Yes, but it does work in the spiritual world. And that's why it was called Simchat Beit HaSho'eva, the water drawing festival. The idea being is that even though the drawing of the water is only the means to the ends, which is the pouring of the water on the altar, nevertheless there should be a joy even in the preparation. And that's why Jewish people are always so involved in the preparation of a mitzvah, even though they haven't actually done the mitzvah itself. But the mere preparation for it is important because the means are just as precious to Hashem as the ends. And this is what we celebrate on Sukkot. It is a time of complete rejoicing, not only in the finished product, but in all of the preparations for the finished product. And I wish you all a Chag Sameach.